Hello everyone, this is Dr. Todd, and in this video we're going to take a look at Chris Martin's book, Terms of Service. If you like these videos, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any future book reviews. Also, if you have a particular book related to Christianity you'd like me to review, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Well, with that said, let's get to the book. Chris Martin is a Christian author who serves as a content marketing editor for Moody Publishers. He has extensive experience in social media. In his book, Terms of Service, Martin argues that we are unwitting victims of a social internet that is changing us in unhealthy ways. Martin supports his argument by articulating 5 big ideas. Now, these ideas are concepts that I was able to pull together from my reading of the book. Of course, if you want more details, I'd encourage you to read the book for yourself, but with that in mind, here are those ideas. First, the entire purpose of the social internet is to gain our attention in order to sell us something. The best way to gain our attention, of course, is to create an environment in which we can either feel really happy or really angry. And this anger, which really tends to work best, leads to polarization. And polarization, from that perspective, is a good thing because it keeps us engaged. Polarization also triggers tribalism inside of us. And we will enter, when tribalism gets evoked from us, we will enter into echo chambers to where we're only listening to those just like us, and we'll develop a lack of empathy for others that happen to hold different views. Now, of course, this staying angry is bad for our health, and Martin argues it actually ends up increasing anxiety and depression in a lot of people. So that's the first idea, that it's really trying to gain our attention and sell us something, and it does it through anger and polarization. Second, the social internet has also fostered a dysfunctional type of groupthink that's only made matters worse. And the reason here, he talks about attention equals values. It's like an example would be a popular yet ignorant influencer on YouTube, for instance, or on any other social media outlet, Twitter, let's say, can sway the opinion of millions of followers with one post. Now, it doesn't matter that the influencer is an absolute idiot when it comes to whatever they're talking about, but because people follow them, and since we long to belong, remember there's the tribalism again, since they long to belong, they'll follow that person right off the cliff just like a dutiful lemming would. So that's one of the issues as far as the dysfunctional groupthink. Another problem is that dissenting views are seen increasingly as real and dangerous as a physical assault would be. So, in other words, if you happen to disagree with the prevailing tribal company line, then you are full of hate, you're an attacker, and of course that results in you needing to be punished or basically extinguished, and that's done through canceling you. So that's the second big idea I picked up from the book. The third is that the social internet is not a place that's particularly suited for forgiveness and reconciliation. You see, you got to remember, if forgiveness occurs, then attention goes away. And remember now, attention equals value and value equals power. So those that are in that cancel mob mentality are not really interested in reconciliation. Instead, they're interested in destroying their target with extreme prejudice. By keeping the conflict raging, the canceller gains more attention and notoriety, etc. You see this when a celebrity gets called out for something, and they can apologize, but it doesn't really matter because those that are in this vigilante mob will simply move the goal line on them. So there's no way of really reconciling or even exhibiting true forgiveness if they did make an honest mistake. It's not allowed because the goal there has nothing to do with true reconciliation and forgiveness and bringing people together. It's actually garnering more attention. And the more outlandish I can be and the angrier I can be, the more attention I'll get for myself. And the more attention, of course, the more value, and the more value, the more power. So it's not really about forgiveness at all. Now then he moves over after talking about how things are so bad, and they are actually. The fourth thing that I picked up on is if you want to navigate the social media, internet properly, you'll have to do a few things. And these are my thoughts, but I'm just pulling them from the book, the concepts. First, you must understand the purpose of the game. You see, the purpose of the whole game, with social internet and social media, is to addict you so that you'll buy stuff. So they want to keep you engaged for as long as possible. You've got to remember, second, the rules of the game. The rules of the game are pretty simple. To stir up conflict in order to gain attention, which brings value, which equals power. The third thing you've got to realize is the players of the game. There are individuals out there seeking to make a name for themselves simply by humiliating you. I remember when one of my first interactions in social media was on a blog post I'd written and posted on Medium, and it was about postmodernism and how it's antithetical to Christianity. And I engaged with an individual who claimed to be or purported to be a postmodern Christian, but it became pretty apparent to me pretty quickly that this individual wasn't interested in actually talking about issues. He just wanted to bang his chest, tell me how stupid I was, and then go back to his tribe and show what a victor he was. And so I learned pretty quickly that the name of the game is simply to humiliate others so that you can push yourself up into status. Now, you also have to remember the likely result of the game if you want to navigate the social internet properly. And the result of the game most likely is going to be you're going to experience higher levels of anxiety or depression. Now, with that said, the best antidote for social media internet is, quite frankly, just not get on it, or at least, now he doesn't bring this up, but this was one of the conclusions I drew, or at least unplug from it frequently. The second thing is keep a perspective that reminds you of the game, the rules, the players, and the likely result that I just mentioned. Third, develop real alternative incarnational friendships, real people, not just friends on Facebook. And then fourth, as far as this is concerned, is live your own life instead of watching others live theirs on social media. That's pretty much the big ideas that I picked up from the book. Now, let me speak a brief moment for what I think about the book. Well, I think Martin does a wonderful job of painting the historical picture of the development of the social internet. He carves out a plausible path that explains our current cultural predicament. He clearly teaches us what's really going on behind the curtain on the social internet. He does so in a way that it reminds me of the words of Søren Kierkegaard when writing about a man looking into the mirror, as mentioned in James 1. Kierkegaard argued that we are to look intently into the mirror of the Word of God as the man gazes into a mirror. He says, then as we reflect into that mirror, we walk away forever changed. That's Kierkegaard's understanding of James 1. That's his exegesis of James 1, the illustration of the man looking in the mirror. When I think about this book, as I was reading Terms of Service, I felt as though I was having a similar experience. I seemed to see myself as if looking in a mirror related to the social internet on every page I was reading. Now, in Kierkegaard's example, Kierkegaard says you look intently into the mirror until you're able to say, without a doubt in your heart, it is I to whom it speaks. It is I to whom it speaks. And so it's almost to where you see that personal application. And as I read Terms of Service, I walked away thinking to myself, it is I to whom it speaks. Now, although obviously Martin's words aren't inspired like those of James, I think if you will engage the book, you'll walk away with the same feeling that I did. Martin's book was a painful yet edifying experience for me. Because I don't know about you, but no one likes to be called out as a fool. But there is a joy that comes with enlightenment. And I think if you read Terms of Service, you will walk away feeling enlightened and empowered to more responsibly engage the social internet. Now, with that said, who should read the book? Well, I think anyone who has experienced a negative emotional experience associated with consuming social media would benefit from reading this book. The book can serve as a doorway through which you can reflect on what is happening to you, and once you better understand that you're being played by social media or the social internet, you can take responsible corrective action. This book would be a great resource for small group or discipleship studies in the local church as well. It shows how easily the human heart can be hijacked by unscrupulous persons for ungodly purposes. Well, I hope this has been helpful. Like I said before, if you have any Christian books you'd like for me to review in the future, please drop me a note in the comments. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll catch you in the next video.